Hey Ren, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing well. And you, Mark?
Yeah, not so bad. What a confusing day. Let's just put it that way, shall we?
Oh, yeah, man. I had to juggle work and a little bit of BP, but, so much to learn. So much.
Yeah. So basically, constructed this thing that Ren and I have sort of put together. We're going to do basically a 20 to 30 minute deconstruct of everything that's happened in BP over a period of time. Today, obviously, we thought we'd do this one today simply because it's the massive update, the change to PvP, and there's a lot going on, and a lot that's not been explained in any of the notes. It's in lots of different sidebar areas, whether that be the Discord, whether that be the support forum, or whether that just be chats between individuals and people answering tickets, etc. So yeah, we'll give it a go. Anyway, I think first and first, Ren, do you want to? If I scroll through, do you want to go through the notes, the key bits that you picked out?
Okay. So we had they've been updating this post. First of all, I recommend people come and check this post every now and then over the next few days because, for instance, that known issue section is brand new. The other blue piece there saying that there's a ton of great base specials is brand new because they gave people stuff that old base specials that a lot of newer players didn't have and haven't been offered in a long time. And that was never announced anywhere. So when people started getting them, they're like, oh, that's cool. Why am I getting that? Right?
It is a bit odd, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but there was a lot of gifts. I think because of all the changes and to give people time to adjust. I gotta say, out of all the major game changes I've seen in, I don't know, 9, 10 years playing Battle Pirates, this one has been handled the best with all the giveaways and gifts and free stuff, so people can take their time, learn without any sort of penalty. Literally, there's zero penalty, zero cost to hit bases, defend your base, make changes. It's nearly everything free.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I must admit. I mean, things that weren't announced obviously is you get a free instant base fix for this week, for the whole week. In fact, it's 7 days. So if you get hit, whether you make it and don't, or they don't make it in your base instantly fixes. Not exactly the same for your guard, but your guard fleet obviously you can get fixed tokens as well if you go out on the sea for your attacking fleet. So there's no real huge issues. 95s for your titanium. You go out and hit one of those with your Punisher flag if it's upgraded. It's instant fix on the sea, and it whacks you right up with titanium to the top as well. Go in and obviously hit. Sorry, that's not the 95. That's with a zealot. Sorry, and you hit. Obviously, it's a 109, isn't it? That you hit with your Punisher flag, and that gives you all the
Yeah.
base parts you need. So there are two nice and easy ways to get there. And if some people are lucky, they'll save some of the previous base the turret upgrade tokens, which you can actually do a lot of your base turrets upgrading for nothing. So um, there are various different. I mean, you're getting 10 72-hour tokens. If you were there, it's what is it, 2 days and 6 hours? I think it is for each one.
Yeah, two tokens, 3 hours each that you get from the 109 and the 95. So yeah, one gives you titanium, the other gives you base parts. Both of them are actually filling you up to the brim on the regular resources, and they give you each 1 3-hour defender repair token, 1 3-hour conqueror repair token. So literally, you go hit a base, get a couple of these tokens, and you can repair your conqueror back. The only thing is you got to go back and dock. You got to go back inside your base, start the repair there, and then apply the token. You can't do that in the map.
Yeah, I was talking to Venom about that earlier on. He learned the hard way on that one very early, but then very quickly picked up on it and went back into base because obviously once you get into that cycle of I would want to hit bases, you keep forgetting to go back to your own base. So yeah, I mean, and that's some of the testing we were doing earlier on today, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
um,
And the other cool thing is like for the next few, like the normal rules is if your base gets defeated, you have to repair the long way. But for the next few days, even when your base gets defeated, all buildings are instantly repairing,
yeah,
right? And so the only thing left for you to repair is your guard fleet, your 5 defenders, and then you have the tokens. So even that is free if you apply the tokens.
which is still the cheapest thing to fix. In all honesty, I'll say here and now, neither of us are linked to any Kixeye affiliations now, and that's a lot of stuff. Quite independent here, but I also think this is one of the more fluid runouts of a major change in the game, and probably these are the most major, biggest change there has been. Though it is causing unrest as it would do because no one likes change. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't
Uh,
know what brought this change about, although, if they're going to change it, they're going to change it. So we need to adapt.
and I think mostly it's for the better. I know many players and will miss the skills involved in prepping a base. But then again, there was prepping and there was prepping, right? There's that one person that comes in with a lot of skills from the corner, finds that little weakness and exploits that. And then there were people who were just ramming your base one, two, three, four, five times and repairing on the map until they could get in.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
there was no skill in that.
Mm.
And now you can simply go and one hit, and that justifies the extra power in the Conquerors. And a lot of people are like, oh, the Conquerors got a buff and the Defenders got a nerf. It's true. But that's because now you got to do the whole job of the hit in one go. No more many preps, prep, coin, hit, win. Has to be hit and then win or lose.
Yeah, yeah. Now, one thing I'd strongly advise is basically that people don't plan their adjustments to their base over the next 7 days or so, or even the next 3 weeks with things like T8 howlers in there, etc. Really do try to steer away from that because they're not going to be in there for much longer. So you may as well start thinking, and whilst in the next 7 days there is no loss of anything for being hit apart from the annoyance of you've got to click the fix button and it does fix, you may as well just, and you still get your bubbles, so it's fine. You may as well actually really go as best effort as you can with what defenders you have, and at least try and make some adjustments to where you're going to be placing your warehouses and obviously your radio tower, etc., etc. And go hit other people's bases. Go to the real top players if you really want to, and go and peak.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone's going to mind at the moment, to be honest, because we're all okay, all back to square one. Obviously, some alliances will be a bit ahead of each other, and they'll be battling ideas around each other's brains and that sort of stuff. But there's a lot to learn, which I think is interesting in some respects.
absolutely. And everybody's kind of learning. A few players who worked intensely on testing these on the previous servers, of course, had weeks to learn the things, and now they can share a lot of that knowledge, organic knowledge, with their alliances. So yeah, some players will get ahead, but that's the bonus they get for giving away their time for free to test all of that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
um,
Yeah.
Everyone else is just going to go and just learn the normal way, as if it's a little bit like a new game.
And that's the way I'm looking at it. As you know, I was away for a year. I've come back. I've been waiting and waiting, waiting because as soon as I got back after the new year, I heard that this, the new team out there, and I do like the way the new team's working. I must admit, my affiliation is different. It's independent now, as is yours. So we've got a bit more flex, which is nice. Um, but I'm generally sort of like intrigued in how this is going to go down, and there are going to be people that are going, right, well, that's enough for me. But to me, it's a new game now, and let's just, whilst many of us are sat at home, furloughed, etc. So why not? Let's just get on with it. Learn it
Yeah,
or and like it, or learn it and hate it. Either way, it's coming. So we may as well just go with the flow, and then decide in 3 weeks' time whether we want to continue or not. I'm going to ride the storm.
absolutely.
I'm going to ride the storm personally.
Yeah, and I think if anything, people who are thinking they're going to retire, go with a bang. Use the next 5 6 days. You can hit as many bases as you want. You can be hit as many times as other people want to hit you, right? And there's no penalty. You don't lose medals when you're defeated in a base. You don't have repair time when your base is defeated. The only thing, and that's one of the known bugs that Kixeye is working on. We'll talk more about that later. But the only thing is, people, if they hit a dead base, one of those where everything is destroyed but the two shipyards and the dock, if you get into one of those, retreat, because if you go in and you kill the three buildings, you're going to lose 19 medals. I think it's a fixed amount. I'm not, but everybody I saw was losing 19 medals when
Yeah,
that happened.
yeah, and yeah. So there's the thing. Dead bases, no point going near those anymore. Particularly if you do like your medals, and you don't get any points for them anymore, obviously, because there's nothing in them to score. So you're not going to get anything for your alliance points. So that those days are over. Okay. And obviously, some of the defense fleets, their statistics have changed. You know, gatekeepers as a classic example, which is I just brought that up. And before you saw, then obviously there's changes to obviously to your trenches, and there's obviously changes to the warhounds. And the T8 ones, they've dialed them back down. Basilicas have dialed down, as have subjugators, based off combat speed and et cetera, et cetera. That's to try and slow them down to doing the 100%, to try and steer you away from using those fleets in slow time, I can imagine, probably. We've got plenty more tier 9 stuff to come out. I think that the fact that they've held off for the moment is a very good idea.
Yeah, I think, like as you said, the tier 8 guys all lost some of their shine. I still saw people running basilisks with subjugators today, and beating the crap out of some bases. I think the main point is for everyone listening to this, it's like if your base was a farm before, it's still a farm now.
Yep, mine is.
Right. Yeah, and if you could defend before, you will probably need to make adjustments to keep defending now. If you don't adapt, your base will probably be a farm because it's set up to have a bubble pad. And now you really don't need to keep stuff at the front for the attacker to kill as they come in. You got to use everything strategically to defeat them in one go.
Yeah, you're right. So a guide for dead bases. Generally, in general terms, dead bases don't have resources around the outside of them, and in general terms, they haven't probably done any of the upgrades. I'm not exactly sure that that's an accurate, constructive way of looking at it. But in general terms, if someone's logged in, particularly during FM, if there's no FM targets out around their base, particularly as long as they're not too bunched up with other targets, you'll generally find that that's a dead base anyway. And they generally don't have resources around the outside because obviously they normally regenerate when someone's live. So sometimes you can find bases that have got nothing going on whatsoever. They've never picked for example, a faction, etc., and that sort of stuff. So it would be nice if Pixar there now finally got rid of all the dead bases. I know there's an issue in doing that, but it would be a perfect time to get rid of them, because obviously that's going to cause some people some issues if they hit a dead base by error and then they start losing medals, which is not the ideal thing if medals is still the thing you're after.
Yeah. But they're going to work on fixing that. So then there's the turrets, right? A lot of people were basing their defenses on very old turrets like the Wendigos and the Cannibal and the Cryo Adder and all that kind of stuff. I still have the turrets on the screen. And, a lot of these old turrets that had cryo effects were a problem because their duplicate aura cap was like 999 and they could stack endlessly. And when you stacked everything, it'll just freeze the attacker. Like they will not reload, they will not move, they will not turn. And of course that was a problem. You know? And now they all being tuned to a point and tuned down mostly. I think the Cryo Adder it's the only one that got one buff in the cryo effect, but everything else was like tuned down.
Yeah, exactly. I think that is the only one that and I don't think you can still retrofit your Cryo Adder as well. So those that haven't done it, it's just something you can tick away in the background, which will help because it does help a bit on reload, etc. But yeah, the Wendigo is, what was that? Tier 7 turret or tier 6 turret?
Oh, older. 5, 6, something like that. The old, Cannibal maybe was 7.
It's one of those old mechanics that, a little bit like when you picked a certain crew during one of the events that all of a sudden made your zealot drones disappear across the screen and go and attack everything. It's just a hiccup from old days, and, it's one of those things. They'll pick up on these things, It's great fun to exploit them, not exploit them, to highlight them is probably the best way of putting it. But they can't remember it all, and us old crusties, and there's plenty more in the chat I can see. I know some familiar faces in there as well that just happen to know certain things just through, years of playing the game and that sort of stuff. So
yeah, and people are asking, I saw TFC players asking, are these turrets useless now? And I'm going to say no, they're not useless. They're just less powerful because they were powerful to the point where they could freeze an attacker on their tracks. And I don't think that's right. So, but can they still slow down? Yes. And you compose that with thunderclaps and other turrets, and you can still slow down the enemy enough for, let's say, a mongoose to hit them and do a lot of damage.
Yeah. So my biggest thing about the dead base is what I've did notice that I lost some medals basically was if you go to pop for somebody, because it's good fun going base testing. We've done loads today with lots of different people. for all different alliances, which has been great fun. People dropping their tags so they can go and hit each other, and so it's been real good fun today. It's been a bit crazy, to be honest. I've also been trying to balance work with obviously messing about on this as well, but obviously, don't hit a dead base because you're going to lose out straight away if medals are your thing, and if you're in a big alliance, then it will be a thing because that's part of the collecting and hoarding and being in a big alliance sort of stuff. So, but if you're not, then who cares? To be honest, don't worry about it. Um, it's just the way it is. So quickly, turrets and that sort of stuff. You get enough tokens. Hopefully, you can do at least your HT turrets and upgrade them virtually instantly because you get 10 upgrade tokens for 3 days, which should be okay. Your warehouses and that sort of stuff you can upgrade for free because you got your base parts and you can get the free titanium. Like I said, take those 2 different ships out on the sea if you've got them, and you can instant fix on the sea the 95 and also the Punisher turret as well. So the Pun 2 turret, target. So you can do that. And everything else I managed to get up to speed pretty quickly. There are other things that you can't. The obviously your oh god, the gates, you can't update those. It's still like 18 days to go to level 3.
Yeah.
Which is slightly frustrating, but that's not what this update was about. You couldn't update that for free. It's quite good that we can update the turrets for free and the warehouses. So I was surprised that the warehouses were going to be a free upgrade. I knew that.
And one point I wanted to make, since we're talking about the buildings, is again, I saw a lot of people asking about what if I don't have a radio tower, and the answer is you're making life easier for the attacker, right? So build a radio tower. I think it builds in 5 minutes. It's instantly. It's an instant speed up. And then when you upgrade, you can upgrade with base parts, and then it goes to 75 million armor. And same with the Great Hall, goes to 75 million armor.
Yeah. Okay, and so that we're just talking about that exact same thing. So whilst we're looking at this is a live base hit that happened earlier today, or it was a live one. Okay, it doesn't matter whom the individuals were because we were just messing about and that sort of stuff. But the point is, what we wanted to highlight here was this in now in the top left-hand corner. This ticks down. So outpost times 1, Great Hall times 1, radio tower times 1, and 5 warehouses. So that's going to tell you what's in that base straight away. Okay, then. And then from there, as one of those things dies, the counter goes down. It will say outpost 0 or Great Hall 0, etc., and that sort of stuff.
You win when everything gets to 0. When everything gets to 0, you're going to see the message protection activated popping up at the top of the screen. That's when you know, as an attacker, you've won.
Yeah, and there's no need now to go and things like, right, I want 100%, because you're not going to get anything from 100%ing people. It doesn't make any difference whatsoever. You just take all those markers down to 0, and that's you done.
Yeah, I mean, you can 100% for bragging rights, but there's no 3 stars for that anymore. No more medals for that anymore.
Yeah, so that is the difference. That star system is gone. So all you've got to do is bring those indicators down to 0, and that's you've got to where you needed to get to, basically.
Yeah. Two interesting things about this hit. First of all, it's the first time I see a fleet of trenchers fully equipped for a hit, not just a prep fleet with the missiles. As people are adapting their trenchers. The second thing you see, there's nothing at the entrance for a bubble pad. That's gone. The gates are in, the warehouses are in. Things are now where they make sense strategically. They're not there to cause a bubble. They're not just time wasters. Everything now can have a purpose, right? And the purpose is to protect those 8 buildings somehow, or at least one of them. As long as you can protect one of them, the defender wins.
Exactly that, and use there's not so much of it in this base here, but use the mountains. This set of mountains here is protecting that gate, so he can't hit it at 45-degree angle. There's lots of thinking outside the box and thinking laterally as well, and you'll see a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we're going to see that already in the first, when they take the draft of the slice of bases for the next bounty. I don't know if it's going to include from this, or whether we're going to have 1 month pause and it'll go to the previous before this update. I'm not really sure, but I'm really intrigued as to what's going to happen in bounty and how we're going to do bounty moving forward, because it's going to make quite a difference, I think, for some individuals. But yeah, it's win or lose, I don't think it really matters at the moment whether you win or lose. The idea is you're getting concepts and ideas and that sort of stuff, But yeah, first, a full set of trenchers, which is quite an unusual thing to see. Most people don't put any weapons on it and just use the inbuilt weapons and just using for prep fleets. So
Yeah, and the trencher got a buff. The cannon on the trencher, the prime agitator, was buffed. The trenchers themselves now have much higher deflections. I still don't know if it's a good thing to have a fleet with five of them, but they are stronger than they were before. So maybe a mixed fleet, it's good.
yeah, so sniping unfortunately is one of those things that probably was fun for some people, and preps. When we used to do big team hits and someone would prep and someone would do the hit and that sort of stuff. You could tag team things, which that has gone away, which I find a shame. Because that in a big alliance is some real good fun. You know,
Yeah,
and that's a shame. Because that's an aspect of the game where if PvP is your thing, that's part of being in the alliance. Where right, you do that bit, I've got this fleet, I'll come in this here. And you talk through it as a team and that sort of stuff. And that to me is absolutely what when I in the old days, 6 years ago, when I used to do lots of base hitting, that was the thing that really I enjoyed a lot. But I don't anymore.
yeah, I think it's an aspect of the game definitely that a lot of people will miss. But on the other hand, we're getting some new aspects, right? That we'll probably enjoy that we didn't have before. And I've noticed the other thing is like people now don't need to do those big uh, rim areas because of basilisks. The basilisks have been nerfed a little bit, and even if they can snipe a couple things from the side, they still gotta move to the front and kill the rest. And doing everything in one hit with less firepower because the subjugator bonus for faster reloads gone. It's harder, and we have more tools now to kill the basilisk. So more options. I like that now we have more options to design our bases. We are seeing very different base designs already. I love that.
Yeah, exactly that. And this last page that we're going to talk about, like I said, we're going to keep these really short. These are going to just be half-hour discussions about BP. They're not going to go through like all the updates and what's happening and that sort of stuff. We're just going to pick on one thing, and this is just us basically encapsulating what we think today has gone.
Yeah.
That's us today, basically. So this is the last thing we've got here. Basically, we're going to talk about now, and that's basically on the when you go on the BP forum site there and you put a support ticket in, it will come up with these known areas. So this is the support area, and already they're talking about the rules of engagement update, current known issues. So when you report something and enough tickets go in, then they'll start looking at it and adding it to their ticker. Okay.
Yeah. And when they resolve as well, they're going to make a note that it's being resolved. So right now, we have 7 known documented issues by Kixeye that are published here. If there's an announcement on their Discord server, if people want access to this link, and it just takes you here and you can, just bookmark and see what else is in there before you report something that's already known and listed to be resolved.
I'll put a link to this page here. I'll put this in the bottom of the video. Okay, so in the comments below, I'll tag this in the video so you can all get to it straight from this. Okay, afterwards.
Yeah. So what do we have in there? The problem that you lose medals when you hit a pre-damaged base, a dead base. The problem that the defender, the base, is not gaining medals when it kills the attacker. It should. When you kill the attacker after they've done a certain amount of damage to your base, but before they get all the 8 key buildings, the base should gain medals, take medals from the attacker. Right now it's not. So like I said, no penalty, right? Even for failing. So go ahead and fail right now. Take advantage of that. They're saying some trap specials on the portals are showing up blank and then not equipping, but also not taking resources. I haven't had that happen to me yet. Walls on water, and I haven't seen that either, but I don't know if that's when you're in base planner or when you're attacking a base. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that. Venom had that exact same issue, and he couldn't work out, and he had support on his base trying to look at the problem, and they couldn't get to the bottom of it either, to be honest, at that time. So that is a known issue, and I've physically seen it because I've seen some screenshots from Venom. So.
Okay, the mongoose right now it's firing over or through mountains. It should not. The mountains should block the mongoose, so the defenders should never put a mountain in front of the mongoose turret, because they're not designed to go over, but right now they are. So be mindful of that when designing your base. And the gatekeepers, even submerged, they seem to be visible to the attackers at all times, not only when you get close enough with thermal to see them.
Yeah, we clocked that because obviously they upped the thermal, didn't they, on the wars, didn't they?
Yeah,
Which
it's
was,
75.
but only 75. Yeah,
Yeah, so it shouldn't be seen from like 300 range away, right?
yeah. I mean
And
that.
the final one is apparently some people are getting a surrender button when they get attacked. I got attacked a few times today. I didn't see that surrender button, but some people are seeing a surrender button. Maybe it's a hint from the universe, right? That your base should be better. I don't know.
Maybe I give up. Yeah, maybe it is. I don't know. It's the white
Yeah,
flag
you
moment.
should give up, buddy.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it is. I don't really know. Um, yeah, so that's it. I mean, a few other things that have happened. I know a couple of individuals, like I said, are having some issues with going to base planner. The classic, I've set up a base. It all good. There's no red lines anywhere at all, but it's telling me I've got things that are causing ponds and that sort of stuff. That happened to my brother today. I looked at his base. I looked at the layout that he sent to me. There was nothing wrong whatsoever. And we just literally couldn't work out what the heck the problem was. It's the classic base, the base planner issue. Lesson, and they still haven't managed to fix the fact that we want to rotate the gates inside base planner without having to go outside and move.
Yeah, that would go a long way.
Oh, that's a huge issue.
Oh, one thing, yeah,
Go on.
that I don't think it's in the announcement either, and I saw that on Discord. It's like when you hit a player 3 times, including just simple peaks, they count. But when you hit a player 3 times, that player gets a red bubble for you. If I hit you 3 times,
Yeah.
after that I'm going to see your base under a red bubble for 2 days, so I can't go back, right?
Right. Yeah.
But the one thing that wasn't clear to me, and I don't know if it's now in the announcement, maybe they updated it, but so even if I see your base with a red bubble because I've hit you 3 times, you can still come back and hit me,
Yes.
and you keep the red bubble.
Oh, right. Okay. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, me neither. Until I saw that from a Kickside person on Discord. So you can still go, payback still an option. You won't lose your red bubble.
Yeah, it says there actually in the notes. I just looked. Red bubbles are not removed when attacking the player whom you are red bubbled against. So yeah, it is in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good because it enables payback, right? It's not like, oh, now I'm in a red bubble, I can go and hit that guy back. You can. That's good. That's good design, in my opinion.
Or that's the intent at least. Anyway, I'm not sure it's working out quite as it's intended yet, because I know Venom keeps getting hit multiple times by the same person because they keep obviously testing things out. And I know he's in chat there talking about it now. So yeah, but in general terms, that's the concept. So you just need to think about each of those lines in the update, and it's a lot to take in, isn't it? There's a heck of a lot to take in here. Talking to a couple of other individuals, big players, with a huge amount of medals, well up in the 600s today, and they were like, scratching their heads, going, I must have something I can think about outside the box that still works. And it's interesting, if it gives you a chance to rack your brains and make you think and use the grey matter, that can only be a good thing. For the right reasons or the wrong reasons, the point is we are now having to think outside the box, which is good.
Yes. Now I wanna say 2 things before we finish the broadcast. And I don't know if you have more stuff, but I only have two quick things. One of them is to tell people to plan ahead. Right, this weekend we have VXP weekend. It's the same Zealots target, so if your Zealots are ranked, should be easy to go and defeat the VXP targets to get defender tokens. So you're ready to rank future defenders as soon as you build them.
Yes.
That's planning ahead.
And that's one of the tokens you can't get for free, getting the ones from, obviously, because it's just Conqueror tokens using your mega ship.
Exactly. So hit those VXP targets, even if you don't have anything to rank, just to get the tokens, right? Yeah. Kill them, get the tokens. The second thing is, we have all these free for all going on for 7 days. I mean, the update happened, for me, it was midnight on Wednesday, right? So pretty much 19 hours ago.
Yeah.
So now we have nearly 7 days of free heating, free titanium, free base part, repair token. So use that to learn, because next week on Wednesday, bounty starts. And we don't have full clarity on bounty rules, but if you want to be ready, and if you want to have your conquerors adjusted and your defenders adjusted and everything, you have a week. Use that.
Yeah, some will be ready. 99% won't.
I know, I know. Still, I gotta say it.
Yeah, of course. And obviously this month, just bear in mind, obviously this month, because it rolls into a week of next month as well. There's 3 FM cycles. There are 2 new armors. There are other shows that we're talking about, that Hefe's show, etc. He'll go into the full details. We're not here for that sort of thing, okay? But just bear
Yeah,
in mind, there are 2 new armors, so grab them. This is in readiness already for this next skirmish cycle, okay? So plan ahead. That's all I can say. That's the
yeah.
only thing I've got.
And one thing I think was Damnation said that on the chat here, the stream chat, is that on FM they've added a lot of the heavy turrets, so you can actually get a lot of the heavy turrets from FM apparently. I haven't seen that, but I'm trusting Damnation here.
Yeah,
So
FM's
if it's
tickets.
wrong, it's his fault.
Yeah, FM started half an hour ago, so yeah. And there's a couple of good TLCs out there as well. One for obviously your previous assault fleet, and obviously the ones that there's some updates there to obviously Praetorians and that sort of stuff. So there's things out there to have.
Yeah.
Right, I'm done. If you're done, mate, we'll call it a night.
I'm done. Just one question from the chat. Someone is asking Coffin if the 2 repair slots are permanent. The answer is yes. That's in the briefing there. No, sorry, there wasn't in the briefing. I think they added now.
It's in now,
the Conqueror repair queue is permanent now, not only during bounty.
Yeah, looks like 5 heavy turrets according to that in the FM, so that's a nice thing as well. Probably still the max of 12, but we'll double check on that. So just see if you're already maxed out. Obviously, they should be grayed out. You shouldn't be able to collect them.
Yeah, and people have to handle the base power constraint because you can't just go and put as many as like 5 Hellmouths, 5 Decimators, 5 Farsights. You're going to be overpowered.
Yeah.
So you got to handle that. That's a constraint. It's part of the game strategy and tactics and planning. You know, building a good base with a constraint of base power.
Yep, I think so.
All right.
Right, we're done, mate.
We're done. We're done. Yeah.
Excellent. We'll work out a way to finish this off properly, but I just want to say thanks for tuning in. Okay, that is number 1 done. Put down some comments, obviously, once it goes up onto YouTube, and basically have a little look through, see what sort of things you want to include in this. We aren't going to go through everything, like I say, every week. There are a couple of the shows that already do that, and we're not taking anything away from them. We're trying to add content, not just replicate everything that's already been done already.
Yeah, think of it as your 30-minute weekly radio show on Battle Pirates, but very short.
Okay, take care all, enjoy the FM, and we'll chat to you again soon.
Yeah, take care everyone. Bye.